Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out with our old friend Steve Big Daddy Bunce. How you doing, Steve?
Oh, fantastic, Dan. What a place this is.
It's lovely. Jack Solomon's bar, obviously famously where Cassius Clay apparently trained for big fight with Henry Cooper. What, do you remember much about that? You were surely a young kid at that time, if anything.
Funny enough, I'm not that old, no, but I do remember this gym. I mean, this gym had closed by the time, just about closed by the time I was an amateur boxer. And it certainly closed by the time I was working. But Solomon's Gym in Great Windmill Street in Soho, Solomon's Gym in Soho, Solomon's in Soho, those things in the 50s and 60s, if you read any of the columns from then, what used to happen, this is no word of a lie, Dan, is that the press used to come down here 3 or 4 times a week. We don't have the conferences that we have now. They'd sometimes have 6 conferences a year. Trust me, 6 a year in a casino, a conference. But so the press would come down here. They'd meet round the corner. They'd have something to eat. Then they'd all come down here and watch the sparring in that room or this room. Talk to Solomon's or Mickey Duff, whoever was here. That's how they'd get their stories. I mean, you know, none of this, no cameras, no people wandering around. Can you imagine? I've got to be honest with you, wouldn't that be a simple life? All you had to do in the morning was get up. Now you've got to write something on Friday and go down Jack Solomon's on a Monday and a Tuesday, have a couple of light hours and speak to
a couple of beers.
Oh, it's a joy, isn't it?
That's what we've got in mind for today. It's not, unfortunately, not like that all the time.
Not for me, though.
We're here, obviously, for the launch of Boxset, which is a boxing-themed film festival, which isn't easy to say when you've had a few sherbets. I'm sure you'd agree. Really looking forward to it. It's in November. Just wanted you to ask you, what's your favourite boxing film? What one stands out for you?
It's a really interesting. Obviously, I like boxing films, but what I really like is I like bits from boxing films. Now, I'm one of those guys, and you might hit me with a camera or the mic or just kick me. I'm not a Raging Bull fan. I like parts of Raging Bull. I don't particularly...
Holding myself back.
No, I don't particularly like the boxing scenes in Raging Bull. I don't, and call me old fat, you know, whatever. I just don't. I love the story. I love everything about it, but I'm not a massive fan of the boxing scenes, even though everyone seems to think they're the greatest boxing scenes. I like all the Rocky training style stuff. Of course I do. And then I like different films. I like nick a little bit of this, nick a little bit of that. There's a film that's working here. Johnny Harris, former ABA champion, who twice beat Barry Jones when they were amateurs, who sparred when he was...
Barry will thank you for bringing that up.
Johnny brings up all the time. Who sparred with Azuma Nelson when Azuma Nelson was fighting Jim McDonald. He was Azuma Nelson's sparring partner for Speed. And Johnny actually won a junior ABA title, which makes him unique as an actor. No lies, he won a junior ABA title. I know, because I was in the corner, handing up. And so, in that film, their boxing scenes are really realistic in that film, and I like the rest of the story. So, I can't actually pick a particular one, but if you're looking for one that made the most impact, not just on me, but on the boxing world, and I think on the cinematic world, then I wouldn't go Raging Bull, I'd go the original Rocky. You know, of course the fight scenes are ridiculous. You know, they hit each other 2 million zillion times, of course they're ridiculous. But then sometimes when you're watching pro fights, you see something, and when it goes a bit mad, you say, that's just like, say it with me, Rocky, don't you? You don't say that's just like Raging Bull. You say, that's just like Rocky. You do, don't you? So if something's permeated our culture so much that anything that's a wild, crazy exchange, especially between 2 big guys, is like Rocky. I'm not going to be cool and come up with some German art film. No, I'm going to go Rocky 1.
I'm glad you didn't come up with some German art film. My research is not that thorough. Steve, let me ask you, in all your time covering the sport, which one boxer would you pick out of someone who hasn't had a film made about them yet that would be worthy of the honour?
Little Naseem Hameed. Because you see the way it starts, and you've got to do it like a film man, Dan. This is how it starts. This is the opening. Boom.
Storyboard it, Steve.
Yeah, storyboard it, baby. Brendan's on a bus. Brendan Ingalls on a bus. He's on the top deck of a bus. He's stuck in traffic. It's a miserable day in Sheffield. All days in Sheffield are miserable. Someone shouts from the...
I didn't say that.
Not even did I. So he's on the bus, Brendan, and he's talking to different people like he would have been doing. And he looks out the window, and there's a schoolyard. And he sees this kid about 3'7", jotting around, throwing punches, throwing kicks. He's surrounded by about 10 bullies. And he sees this kid fighting them all off. Fast forward 2 weeks, he hears this commotion in his gym. The door's open in the gym, and there's an Arab woman there with a burqa on. She comes in, not a burqa, so just with the headset on, scarf on, She comes in and she's got this little kid who's thrashing and kicking, and she throws him in. So Brendan walks over and she says, can you do something with my son? He is a very bad boy. Brendan looks down. It's the same kid he saw in the playground. Bosh! There's the start of it. There she goes. That wasn't bad then, was it?
You better keep the rights to that, Steve, because someone's going to steal it otherwise.
And then it goes to wherever it goes now. I mean, what a story.
And what about, I'm gonna pitch in my own one here, what about Tyson Fury?
Yeah, well, Fury's to be continued at the moment, but
It's got an impactful start, isn't it? Because didn't he nearly die when he was born or something?
well, I mean, depending on who you listen to, he was either a pound or a pound and a half. So it doesn't make if he was only a pound and a half. You know, that's you know, his dad John always talks about him only being the weight of a bag of sugar. So Tyson Fury is a great story because visually it's incredible, and there's some great scenes in that life. And I don't know everything about Tyson Fury, but the 12 or 15 great bullet points I could do from the resurrection that day in a Staples Center to a moment of different personal things I've had with him that are non-press things. Yeah, Tyson Fury, without a doubt. I mean, that is unbelievable. And the Americans, you know, the Americans loved him in Vegas. Forget Tom Schwartz. It wasn't about Tom Schwartz. It was about Tyson Fury. And that's why that was the greatest American debut ever by a British boxer. Not because of the opponent, because of what he did. And oh boy, he grabbed them. So the next one he'll grab them, the one after that he'll grab them. Even if he doesn't fight Wilder, doesn't beat anybody, they love him. So that's the story down the line. It's got everything.
And last question, supporting role, Steve Bunce, superb journalist, at ringside, loads of different scenes. You're not available for whatever reason to play yourself. You're out in the Bahamas, for example.
Who plays me?
Who plays you?
I'm gonna get Johnny Harris, and I'm going to make him look old like that app can do. So I'm going to make Johnny Harris look a little bit older than he is, yeah, because he can play me, he could do it like that. And I tell you what, he wouldn't be a bad Steve Bunce, Johnny Harris.
We'll pitch that to him a bit later on. Cheers, Steve. Have a good night. I know we're gonna.
Thanks very much indeed, Dan. Brilliant. Thank you.